All right, good morning, everybody, and good afternoon. This is Laura Miller here for a Sheen exclusive, and this is Sheen Talk Live with Sheen Magazine. I am here with the myth, the legend, the incomparable, your journalism bestie, my journalism bestie, Miss Gia Peppers. Good morning, Gia. How are you today?
What an intro. I am just overwhelmed. Thank you so much, Laura. That was, wow. I'm going to keep you in my pocket for that.
Yeah, you know what? Just go ahead and save the recording. And that way, if you need a boost up in your day-to-day, just go ahead and listen to me accolade and throw flowers at you because roses are required, Miss Peppers. Take all of the roses. You may have them up.
Thank you. I received them. I'm holding them right now.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Likewise. Thank you so much for sitting with Sheen Magazine. So first things first, we have to address the Titan in the room. There's Maya Angelou over your shoulder. Everybody say Maya, who is watching this broadcast. Make sure you always honor Auntie Maya, Ms. Maya Angelou for short. I mean, we'll get into your inspirations, but I do love the fact that, obviously for us, journalism has changed in the way that we, market ourselves, in the way that we are broadcasting. A lot of times we are broadcasting at home. And why isn't it? Does it feel different for you to do that? Do you prefer it? Or are you kind of like, okay, please give me a studio?
Please give me a set. Please give me a studio. Like I made my den really cute. So like it can be, but please give me a studio. I miss not having to do my lighting, hair, makeup, styling, sound, video. Like I miss it. I'm not going to hold you. I will gladly accept when the world is officially open and studios become a thing again, because you have to think about so much more than just the story that you're telling and being talent. You have to worry about lighting and is the air too loud? Is like you have to worry about so much more. And it does. In J school, they prepared us to be a one-man band, one-woman band.
For sure.
Go out and do all that. But I got used to like coming.
Someone else doing it.
And now.
No.
Now it's no. So, I do miss it, but I do like that I don't have to travel. That's nice. I can just travel from my bed to my den. But I think that I kind of miss the riding either the train or in a car and like going over the notes, but in the last minute lashes on, listening to what I need to listen to, like just to kind of like center that I'm going to work. But I am grateful that I can have Maya with me everywhere. I got Kobe up there. I got Nikki over there, more Maya. So like, little Marvin Gaye over there, DC's finest. I'm still setting it up in here. But I think that there's like just so much that you could do with your space now. But I do miss sets. I really, really miss a set.
You know what? And the funny thing about that is you mentioned the subway and the time. Like, I think that is the one thing that COVID and the quarantine has taken away from me, that quiet 45 minutes of time just dedicated to me, listening to music, getting to know myself, perhaps reading books, whatever,
Yes. Something.
It's a sad day, but within that, we are now in the age of journalism that can take multiple different facets. We are not just journalists, we're producers, we're content creators, we are cultural architects now, moving the needle, right? Yeah. And with that, you've also stepped into the podcast arena a few times.
Podcasting is.
Now, for everybody that's watching, we want to let you guys in on a little secret. Terrestrial radio was a thing. It still is. It's a thing. However, one of the things that podcast grants creators is the opportunity to be in alignment with the subjects and topics that they want to be in alignment, rather than having to be completely concerned about other things like sponsorships and network backing and things you cannot say, and weather and traffic breaks. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So out of the 2 million podcasts that are currently in the world, Gia Peppers, 2 million.
Probably a million more by the time this airs.
Right. By the end of next week, there'll be 3 million, but there are currently 2 million. But I want to know from you, why this space? Why podcast? Because you've been on air, you've written. Why now podcast as an opportunity for you to lend your voice?
I've actually been podcasting for the past 4 years. And with Black Girl Podcast, we had such a beautiful time. And like, we literally talk for hours and hours. But what makes this show different is that there is more than that, is actually for both radio and podcasting. So we do have to be a little bit more mindful of the time, but we still have the opportunity to release into the world these new ideas that have been coming up, especially ever since we've all been home more and really been thinking about systemic racism, injustice, justice, like the realities of what is happening in our world with climate change, all the things. And we really realized we needed a space to have on people who actually understood what was going on, what's changing, what we can change, and what we can do to be more well in a time where like everything is unprecedented. Like every day, I'll never want to see the word again. I just want to live.
These unprecedented times. I was in church the other day and they said unprecedented times. And I was like,
it's literally been unprecedented for the past 2 years straight. And I don't want any more of it, but we do have people who, understand what this moment means and what we must do to really make sure that we are well as individual people, but also as a community. And so in season 1, we really did a great job of introducing a lot of concepts to folks who maybe not had heard of why veganism matters, how it fuels your body, why you don't have to decide, look, I'm a flexitarian over here. I am not the person that's always vegan, but I have my vegan month. And so I think it's important to just introduce new concepts of wellness. And in this season, we're really introducing new ways and methods of how to be more well and intentional about the environments you're in, the spaces you're in. The first episode is about home with Master P and Green Girl Leah. And we all know the king of New Orleans, the king of No Limit. He shows up and rides for his home like no other. And New Orleans has been affected by climate change in so many ways, but several times. But when more hurricanes are coming, more people are out of work. Like it's a real situation there. Like New Orleans people are some of the most special people in the world, and Master P is a representative of that. Like he always goes out of his way to make sure that his folk are good. Like he's handing out food, snacks, whatever, and oftentimes housing. So we talked to him about the ways that climate change is really changing the idea of home from someone who is not a climate change expert, but understands that climate change is real and we all should be paying attention to it, because as Green Girl Leah, who is an eco communicator and an activist in that climate change area, especially for our people, she told me that much like everything else, the trickle down effect to our communities is the reality of what's going to happen if we don't pay attention to it. It's already happening. So, we gave like ways to ensure that your environment is great, but also why, yes, it's scary, but why we all just got to pay attention. And so for this season, we're really doing a deeper dive into the ways that we can just start to show up better, the methods. It's not just so much around ideas and concepts. It's like, okay, here are a few things that you should think about. You don't have to do it every day. You don't even got to do it every year. But introduce these topics around your neighborhood and find out ways, because we got. Okay. There's a lot of different ways to like know and realize that. But as a community, we have always been there for each other, and we got to just keep tapping in. And so I hope that this show creates more dialogue around these different opportunities to just show up. Episode 2 is around like business motivation. And so we cover a lot, just like we did in season 1, but it's all ways that are going to help you figure out, especially if you're interested in that, how to show up with actual methods that you can change and apply to your life.
You know what I love about that and that answer? Gia, you have a knack for when you speak to celebrities or any type of cultural person, regardless to who they are and what they're about, all of your interviews and your interview style has a socioeconomic edge. And I love that about you, because it's one thing to talk to someone, say Killer Mike, and say, oh, you got a bank. That's awesome. Tell me about your latest reality show or something to that effect. I think you have a knack for actually diving deeper and getting more from a person that you're speaking with. Why is it important to ask those hard questions? You and I can say they're probably not that hard for us to ask, but uncommonly asked questions for public figures. Why is that important to you? Why Master P and climate change, right? Why those type of subjects for you?
Yeah, it's what's so great about More Than That, and I will answer this in two prongs because I want to make sure I answer it correctly. What is so great about More Than That, though, is that is a show that is led by Black creatives. Not every single person on the staff is Black, but it is led by Black creatives who care about Black people and also understand that a gamut of the age range is going to be represented in these conversations. Our listeners, 1 in 4 Black people had heard of More Than That because of radio and podcast last season. And so we got aunties, my great aunties listening in DC area, Weekend Child, they call me you did a great job, but what?
Oh, yeah, you got the aunties.
I got my great aunties, and then I got my mom and dad who are a different generation. Then I got my sister and brother. So hearing their different takeaways from it is always one of my favorite things to note. But I say all that to say, these ideas are put together by people, by a team of people who realize okay, these are things that our communities just have to start paying attention to. And I'm grateful because when I signed on to the show, one of the things that I made super intentional before the show started was I only want to be a part of things that are going to either help people be more well, inspire them to do better, or to place up a mirror to them that lets them know that greatness is not only within Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Oprah. It's within all of us. It's within the deepest parts of who we are. And we have to consistently be reminded of that because we have so many other messages that are telling us that we're not. And so for me, I don't mind reality. I love Real Housewives of Atlanta. I love the tea. I had to unfollow the Shade Room because I don't understand why I need to know why every single rapper girlfriend looks like.
I don't understand.
I just don't have it.
No shade to the Shade to the Shade.
But I don't, it's just, you have to clean up your timeline, right? You have to do what's best for you. And so I think there is a time where you have to figure out as a journalist what you're going to be a part of because of podcasting, the streamers, there are opportunities everywhere to figure out how you can say what you want to say. You have to figure out what you want to say though, before you do that. And so those answers, especially being a part of so many incredible opportunities to move along Black Lives Matter conversations and dialogues when last summer was happening and all the things that were consistently happening around our country. People kept calling on my voice and I felt imposter syndrome at that moment because I was like, I'm no PhD in Africana studies. I am not my good friend Mark Lamont Hill. I'm not Angela Rye. I'm not Brittany Packnett Cunningham. And these are people I look to understand what's happening. But what I am is a person that is passionate about my people. I'm from Chocolate City. I'm from DC. I don't play about Black folk. I love Black people. And so one thing that I know that I did was that at that time, I started taking notes from those people though. Like if they had me do something, I was like, okay, so what's really happening? Because I understand it from this aspect, what's happening in that you want everyone to know that I might not even know. And so I've learned so much. And now I try to just insert it wherever I can in my interviews in a way that makes people not feel, I hate to say the word stupid, but not feel like they don't know what they're talking about. Killer Mike is about the movement, right? Like,
right. You can pretty much ask Killer Mike anything. He'll know the answer. He'll be okay.
So, but I just learned a long time ago that I wanted to be a part of the things that are changing our community for the better and not necessarily clickbait. Like it's not going to be the same type of movement that a booty picture gets. But that's okay, because I know that the people who are here are not walking away from anything I do feeling less than. That's it. I just don't want nobody to feel like they aren't seen and they are less than valuable, human, or worthy. And so this show does all of that.
So you talked about cultivating the right team or being a part of the right team, in addition to you actually being the host of More Than That season 2, you're also producing. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm one of the executive producers this season. So I'm
okay, so not just a producer, like I get to control the overview of how the show is laid out. I also get to go get the money as well. Is that fair to say?
Child, there's like what's great about it is that we have a great team of people who really get our sponsors to be aligned with us at all times. And one of the greatest things about it is we have a team of sponsors like General Motors, MasterCard, Charmin, Bounty, Kroger, and Buick. Like they actually care about what's happening within our community. And so while I'm not necessarily getting those calls, because that's a lot of tea that I don't want to sip sometimes, I am a part of making sure that the publicity is run a certain way, making sure that and when I say publicity, I don't mean like press part of it, but like maybe more the marketing side, the social media. Because my name is on the show during season 1, I was like, oh, okay, that's what it means when your name's on the show. People think you run every single part of it. You have yes and say over like everything. And I didn't last season. And not that I have final yes and say over this, but at least my voice is heard in a lot of the conversations, as the last season where I was more like just the host and I figured it out as I went along. But one of the things I learned was, no, it matters that, we ask the question this way. Like I want to be in the writers' rooms. I want to be in the things like that. And so for me, it was about just ensuring that if my name is on the project, my voice is in a part of the development of said project. And so I think it's a major learning lesson for all journalists, right? Like if you are a person that's hosting something, and especially if it's a huge conglomerate show that's going to be aired in 106 markets and all over the world, you got to make sure that you are saying what it is that you want to say. And while I don't have final say, I feel so heard by this team that really just understands why we're all here. Like we have to continue to show up for our community in new ways.
I love that. Also, another thing that's super important and I wanted to discuss with you about is diversification of your creativity, right?
Come on in here.
I don't feel like any millennial, honestly, big up to us, anyone between the ages of like, say, 20 and 39, because I'm the old millennial, right? I'm 38, so that makes me
old lady. But you're gorgeous.
Thank you. The 38, that's the old lady millennial, right? We don't do one thing.
Hello?
We cannot do one thing. I don't think it's actually even possible in the makeup and how we operate as human beings. I don't think we can do that. And one of the things about you that I love is, like you said, you had, host. Just so you guys, since you're not journalists, if you're not journalists and you're watching, we get a set sheet. They tell us what to ask. We ask that questions, and there is a mechanism behind us that are delivering the certain key points that we cannot say, things we can say as far as the conversation. And then there are drivers and levels behind that get to generate that type of information for us. Right. So let's say that Gia was tasked to do a full in-depth interview of Macklemore. Without having a ability to have an executive producer conversation, she may very well have to use her skill set specifically as a journalist to handle that interview about Macklemore and Black Lives Matter, let's say. We're using this example not because the thrift store wasn't an amazing track or anything. We're not saying that. We're just saying that in those situations, oftentimes, if something doesn't match and you're a host, you may not have the autonomy to say that. Yep. And that is a big deal. And I wanted to stop and kind of pause and pay attention to that because it is very important. And I'm super proud of you for doing that because a lot of times people are not very brave and they don't want to say. So I appreciate that you actually said, hold on, pardon me. Excuse me.
Hey.
I'd like to do more here.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I've been, an on-air talent, entertainment journalist, but I'm a creative and I'm a woman that has never been afraid to say what I want to say. And I have also never, ever backed down from my integrity. I do not play. And, you know, like I was just talking to Ebro Darden, who is the head of Apple Music and at Hot 97 and one of my mentors. And he posted yesterday, reposted and reshared my season 2 post. And he was just like, you know, years ago when Gia was my intern and I was like overseeing his stuff on his website that he had, we had to talk. And I said to him, I'm not going to be the journalist that gossips. I don't want to be the journalist that sits on a couch talking crap about other people without bringing in their humanity to a situation. I said, integrity matters to me. I want to tell stories that matter. I want to be a part of shows that matter. I want to be a part of things that change the fabric of a human being's thoughts. I don't want to be a part of things that are rampant. And he told me, he kept it real, like, that's going to be a longer journey. That's going to be a harder journey. That's going to be a journey that will not get the clicks, will not get the things that you want. Are you ready for that? And I remember being like, scared, but then I was like, yeah, because I don't want it the other way. Exactly. I never wanted it the other way. Like all that fleeting, we live in the, I don't want it. You got it. Y'all got it. I would rather tell a story that in 10 years, I can be walking down the street and someone say, hey, I remember one time you did the show about business motivation and you had on David A. Gross, who was Nipsey Hussle's right hand, and he talked about something that changed my view of everything. And thank you. I want to be a part of those conversations. Yeah. So just to have people who see that, and thank you for saying congratulations on the executive producer, like it matters to me. And so I thank you so much for saying that. And I thank all my mentors. We have an episode about mentorship, which is just coming. And Felicia Butterfield Jones, who was one of my mentors and one of the first people to see something in me that affirmed that I could do well in entertainment, is in the episode. And so I'm so grateful that we get to talk about that. And I get to have these full circle moments because it's been a long journey, child.
Yes, no, you touched on the biggest thing. And I hope that people take away from that. Like when you decide to do something that is positive and has a purpose aligned to it that does not denigrate or hurt or harm people in the cultural market that we sit in as it relates to media and politics or whatever handle you would like to utilize in this umbrella, positive stories or exact information is a harder road to follow, for sure. And thank you for keeping that up, because I can tell you, I'm sure you have had moments like me where you were like, okay, I could just go this way. I have a knack for information. I can research that. Let's just go there. But you talked about some of the guests, and I would like to know if there's any possibility that you could share with us who's going to be on season 2 of More Than That. Yeah, we'd love to know.
Because I'm like, okay, let me make sure I can share whoever, because I'm just making sure. Okay,
can you get to can you get as far as like episode 3? Let's say that. Can we go that far?
I can tell you 3 people that I'm excited about. Okay, so I did tell you Master P is on episode 1 with Green Girl Leah. Master P, yes. He's just home. Like literally, we talked to him about home.
I like the calmest voice.
Just like your uncle. He's everybody, literally Uncle P to everyone.
Everyone.
I love you. Thank you, Uncle. Angela Simmons is on. And we talked to her about business, because what we often don't realize, because we've all grown up with her from Run's House to all the different things. Sis had a $1 million shoe company at 17 that was internationally sold in Foot Lockers and streetwear stores around the world. She grew up under Kimora Lee with baby fat. Like she has seen all business minds that have really changed the game. And it's controversial, some of her family, but I think that child, we ain't gonna get in it. But
she's very smart. You guys didn't notice that she didn't say it.
Right. Angela though had to take those lessons and figure out a way to continue to sustain empires. And she's launching new brands and businesses all the time. She's one of the most fearless business women that we have. And so I was like, let's talk about it, because we rarely get to talk about, like, you come from a foundation, a legacy of just business minds that figured it out. and you carrying on that legacy, what does that look like? And what are the biggest lessons that you'd like to share with up and coming entrepreneurs? Because of COVID, I think entrepreneurship, and I don't know if I have the exact stat right in my head, but it's on the show, grew 60% within our community. So we talk about like side hustle, but also making it your real hustle. Like we talk about those things. So I'm really excited about that episode. Then David A. Gross, I talked a little about before. He is the co-founder of a lot of Nipsey's business incredible ventures like Vector 90, and the way that they bought Black the block. It's buy Black the block. So they made sure that everything in their area, Crenshaw, was being sold and bought from Black people and them in particular. And so talking to him about investment, but also talking to him about why it's so important that children feel safe, because if they don't even have time to learn. Mm-hmm. He literally, I can't give it away because it's so mind blowing, but he just talked about this experience of growing up as a kid in Crenshaw and having to move to Texas and the difference that it made in him. Like, safety for our children is so important. So just like we talked about how to be incredible business people, but also leaders who come back to their community and give shine where shine is needed. And yeah, Felicia Butterfield Jones. And then we're working on some people, so I can't give everything away. But Felicia Butterfield Jones is also the co-president of the Recording Academy. And so we talked to her a lot about what this new Grammy is going to be, but also her mission is to impact 1 million women in business and teach 1 million women in business how to be business leaders. So talk to her about mentorship and what that looks like to really show up for people. So, we have a lot of really cool guests, but I don't want to share everything because I just don't want to get in trouble. So, but I can share those, and they're incredible. Like when I tell you they're so incredible, like I learned so much.
It sounds like it's going to be an amazing show. I mean, season 1 was already amazing.
Yes. So, and if anybody didn't miss season 1, I will definitely say,
it's available.
One, go back and listen to the episode with Kenya Barris. Go back and listen to the episode with Judge Lynn Toller. Go back and listen to the episodes that we talk about why it's so important for Black women, but Black people especially, to put our feet in soil and get grounded and stand in the sun sometime. Like we just talk about all of it. So if you can, you're a binger, you cleaning the house, just go through all season 1. You'll learn something beautiful. Michaela Angela Davis was great on our Juneteenth episode. We have a lot of great content.
I love that too, because here's the thing. First of all, I said I love that a lot because I do actually, and I needed to vocalize that because it's important. So, one thing I noticed about last season, even similar to this season, they both started in February. Is that intentional?
Yes, it is intentional.
Okay, and they end around mid-June, July. I feel like that's on purpose.
I can't say that it's not,
okay.
But I think the team at Dentsu and 1X Studios, when they came together, they figured out a way. There was a lot of times in the height of the Black Lives Matter movement last summer where these companies were putting out blanket statements about how they was going to help the Black community and they was going to pledge all the stuff. And then you saw later last summer that, at the end of the summer, that most people did not do anything. And so we learned, quickly early on who to trust, but people who actually did the work like Dentsu and like 1X and Urban One, they came together to figure out a way that people can actually create content that will be better and help people be better. And so for me, I was just like, if I'm gonna be a part of something that's gonna help people be better, that was my intention. So to be aligned with this show was really cool because it was a response to all the things that did happen. So in a way, we have to always, like, centering Black people is always my thing, but starting in Black History Month and continuing the legacy and dialogues and conversations that are not new, but we have new ways to discuss them was important to me. And so I am not responsible for the flight of the episodes because that's way above my pay grade. But there is timing that is definitely aligned and intentional to let Black people know that it's for us.
I love that. So before we part ways, I think that everybody watching needs to enact the process of binge podcasting.
Yes, binge it because it's only 20 minutes.
Binge casting.
Binge casting?
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. Binge cast it.
Yeah, binge cast it, you guys, because the thing about it is we'll give Umbrella Academy or, you know, all the Queensmen, shout out to Christian Keys, all of that time for our Saturday and Sunday, or Anita Baker for our cleaning. But honestly, you can have Anita and Christian Keys and more than that season 1, so you can ramp up for the start. Go ahead and tell us what day the show is launching.
Yes. So Saturday, it'll start airing on radio stations. Saturday and Sunday, it'll start airing on radio stations across the country this weekend. So if you're a person, I still listen to the radio. So I will listen to
I'm the booking producer of a radio show. Like, I'm not tripping. Like, I work there. It's okay.
Still love radio.
I still love radio.
And what's so great about radio is that it's like 20 minutes. So it's probably just enough time for your commute to get in there and to listen to something that you're going to learn and be poured into from. And then we're available next Monday on podcasts everywhere as well. So make sure that you guys, wherever you stream your podcast, you can look up More Than That with Gia Peppers and subscribe. And you might get it before then. You know what I'm saying? It might come out that Friday if I can push it through. But I think that there is so much great content coming this season. So definitely subscribe and do your binge casting for all of season 1, and you'll get those notifications when every episode goes live every single week for the spring for sure. So
yes, because we're covering Black History Month. We're going through Black History Month, Women's History Month, Black Music Month, Juneteenth. We're going to be podcasting, binge casting the entire time.
Binge, please. Come through.
Binge casting. I think we should trademark that because we talked about it today.
No, you did that, sis. You should trademark that, please.
I'm probably going to trademark it. I'll put it on a shirt for sure. I'm going to merchandise it. Absolutely. Yes. So I would like to thank you for talking to me. It's been a complete pleasure. And I love your genuity. You're such a sweet, down-to-earth person. And I do appreciate your time and coming with Sheen Magazine and talking to us today.
Sheen been that girl.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Kimberly Chapman. Okay. She's one of those women on the move type of situations, of course. Ground laid. Yes. Work in progress. We are working as far as we can, building as we climb, like we said.
That's right. Lifting as we climb.
So we thank you for coming to the platform. You are always a pleasure and a delight. And it is last thing, podcast airs. You're listening. What exactly are you going to be doing while you listen to this podcast?
Binge casting.
So you're going to eat popcorn? Are you going to have wine?
For me, when I listen to the podcast, oh, you meant me, my bad. What I'm going to be doing is probably taking notes because I am.
Oh, I was going to say, no.
That audio.
Besides beating yourself up. What
did that happen? We're going to do that? Okay. But I'm probably going to enjoy it with some incense and a good cup of coffee or tea, depending on what time I actually listen to it. If I'm in the car, I probably just had the windows down and the radio up, in the speakers up. So it depends. If I'm with my family, we'll probably just be screaming the whole time. Won't listen to it all. Anyway, just be like, like, stuff like that. That's my family very much so. So, it depends on if where I am when the show airs, but it's definitely going to be a good vibe of relaxation and just maybe even a little slow clap. You're
going to clap. You should clap for yourself. Matter of fact, let's start this practice right now. Everybody watching, please clap for yourself. 1, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay. Good job for you. I'm so proud of you. Yes, we're going to keep that up. Yes, you did it. You're awesome. Okay. Again, thank you so much, Gia, for joining. This is Laura Miller with Sheen Magazine. Take care, you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye. Thank you so much.